Hello everyone and welcome to Sally and Bytes. Let's work out these NCERT problems, lists in Python, Part 2 programming problems, for Class 11 students of computer science. With easy step-by-step explanation, visualization, and practical implementation. Let's dive in and get started. Question 1. Write a Python program to find the number of times an element occurs in the list. Initially, the explanation of this Python code will be given. Following that, we'll move on to the visualization on the next screen to see how it operates. Now look at the Python code. Line 1, my_list equals list containing elements 10, 20, 30, 40, 10, 20, 30, 10, 20, 10. This line initializes a list named my_list with some sample values. You can replace these values with any list you want to work with. In line 4, element_to_count equals int of, input of, enter the element you want to count. This line prompts the user to enter the element they want to count occurrences for. The input function takes user input, and int function converts the input to an integer since input function returns a string by default. Line 6, count equals my_list.count of element_to_count. Here, the count function is called on my_list to count the occurrences of the element_to_count within the list. The count is assigned to the variable count. Line 8. Print f the element_to_count occurs count times in the list. This line prints the result to the user. It uses an f string to format the output, displaying the element_to_count entered by the user and the count of its occurrences in the list. So, the program first initializes a list, then prompts the user for an element to count, and finally uses the count function to determine the number of occurrences of that element in the list before displaying the result. Now look at the output. Enter the element you want to count, 20. The element 20 occurs 3 times in the list. This output indicates that the user entered 20 as the element to count, and the number 20 occurs 3 times in the given list. The program then displays this information to the user. Come on, let's see the visualization, how it works, with a detailed explanation. Let's see the visualization of the question 1 code. Write a Python program to find the number of times an element occurs in the list. Line 1. My_list equals list containing elements 10, 20, 30, 40, 10, 20, 30, 10, 20, 10. This line initializes a list with values 10, 20, 30, 40, 10, 20, 30, 10, 20, 10. Line 4. Element_to_count equals int of, input of, enter the element you want to count. The user is prompted to input an element they want to count. The input is converted to an integer using int of, input, and stored in the variable element_to_count. Line 6. Count equals my_list.count of element_to_count. The count method is used on my_list to count the occurrences of element_to_count in the list. The result is stored in the variable count. Line 8. Print of f the element_to_count occurs count times in the list. Finally, the program prints the count of occurrences of element_to_count in the list using an f string to format the output. So, if a user inputs, for instance, 20 when prompted, the program will count how many times 20 appears in the my_list and print that count, saying something like, the element 20 occurs 3 times in the list. Question 2. Write a program to read a list of n integers, positive as well as negative. Create 2 new lists, one having all positive numbers and the other having all negative numbers from the given list. Print all 3 lists. Initially, the explanation of this Python code will be given. Following that, We'll move on to the visualization on the next screen to see how it operates. Now, look at the Python code. Reading the list of integers. Line 2, n equals int of, input of, enter the number of integers. This line prompts the user to input the number of integers they want to enter. Line 3. Input underscore list equals empty list. Line 6. Input underscore list equals list of, map of, int comma, input function dot split function. This line reads the integers entered by the user in a single line, separated by spaces, and converts them into a list of integers, input underscore list. It uses input function to take the input and split function to split the input string into individual elements, and map of, int, to convert each element into an integer. Next is separating positive and negative numbers. Line 9, positive underscore numbers equals number for number in input underscore list if number greater than 0. This line creates a list positive underscore numbers by using a list comprehension. It filters the input underscore list and includes only the elements that are greater than 0, that is, positive numbers. Line 10. Negative underscore numbers equals number for number in input underscore list if number less than 0. Similarly, this line creates a list negative underscore numbers by filtering input underscore list and including only the elements that are less than 0, that is, negative numbers. Next is printing the lists. Print of original list, input underscore list. This line prints the original list of integers entered by the user. Line 14, print positive numbers, positive underscore numbers. This line prints the list containing positive numbers obtained from the original list. Line 15. Print negative numbers, negative underscore numbers. This line prints the list containing negative numbers obtained from the original list. So, the program takes input for a list of integers, separates the positive and negative integers into two different lists using list comprehensions, and then prints the original list, the list of positive numbers, and the list of negative numbers. Now, look at the output. Enter the number of integers. 5. Enter the positive or negative integers, separated by space. -1, 3, -2, 5, -3. Original list, list containing elements, -1, 3, -2, 5, -3. Positive numbers, list containing elements 3 and 5. Negative numbers. List containing elements -1, -2, -3. Let's see the visualization of the question 2 code. Write a program to read a list of n integers, positive as well as negative. Create two new lists, one having all positive numbers and the other having all negative numbers from the given list. Print all three lists. User input. Line 2. Enters 5 as the number of integers. Line 3 inputs -1, 3, -2, 5, -3 as integers. Line 6. Input underscore list equals list of, map of, int comma, input function dot split function. Input function dot split function separates the entered string into individual elements based on spaces, string -1, string 3, string -2, string 5, string -3. Map of, int comma, converts these elements into integers, -1, 3, -2, 5, -3. Input underscore list becomes list containing elements, -1, 3, -2, 5, -3. Line 9, positive underscore numbers equals, number for number in input underscore list if number greater than 0. This generates positive numbers, a list containing 3, 5. Line 10, negative underscore numbers equals, number for number in input underscore list if number less than 0. This generates negative numbers, a list containing -1, -2, -3. Line 13 to 15. Prints all three lists, original list, list containing elements, -1, 3, -2, 5, -3. Positive numbers, list containing elements, 3, 5. Negative numbers, list containing elements, -1, -2, -3. These are the lists: input_list, original, positive numbers, and negative numbers, respectively, containing all the entered numbers, positive numbers, and negative numbers. Question 3. Write a function that returns the largest element of the list passed as parameter. Now, look at the Python code. Line 1. Def find_largest_element of list. This line defines a function named find_largest_element that takes a list, lst, as a parameter. Line 2, largest equals lst of 0. Inside the function, it initializes the variable largest with the first element of the list lst. This assumes that the list is not empty. In line 4, for element in lst colon. This initiates a loop that iterates through each element in the input list lst. In line 5, if element greater than largest colon. Within the loop, it checks if the current element being iterated over is greater than the current value of largest. Line 6, largest equals element. If the current element is greater than largest, it updates the value of largest to be the current element. This way, the variable largest keeps track of the largest element found so far. Line 7, return largest. Once the loop completes, the function returns the largest element found in the input list. Line 8, my_list equals list containing elements, 12, 45, 78, 34, 56, 90. This line creates a sample list named my_list containing integers. Line 9, result equals find_largest_element of my_list. It calls the find_largest_element function and passes my_list as an argument. This assigns the result, the largest element in my_list, to the variable result. Line 10, print, the largest element in the list is, result. Finally, it prints the statement indicating the largest element in the list my_list, using the value stored in the result variable. Now look at the output. The largest element in the list is 90. Let's see how it works visually. Let's see the visualization of the question 3 code. Write a function that returns the largest element of the list passed as parameter. Line 8. My_list equals list containing elements, 12, 45, 78, 34, 56, 90. The given list is 12, 45, 78, 34, 56, 90. Line 9. Function call. Result equals find_largest_element of my_list. This line calls the function find_largest_element function and passes the list my_list as an argument. Line 1. Inside find_largest_element function. Largest equals lst of 0. Line 2. Largest equals lst of 0. Largest is initialized with the first element of the list, which is 12. Line 4 to 7. The loop iterates through each element in my_list. When the loop starts, element equals 12, largest equals 12, as the loop continues. Element equals 45, largest equals 12, element equals 78, largest equals 45, element equals 34, largest equals 78, element equals 56, largest equals 78, element equals 90, largest equals 78. The loop finishes, and largest equals 90, as it is the largest element in the list. Line 7. The function returns 90. Line 9. Result equals 90. The value returned by the function, the largest element, is stored in the variable result. Line 10. Print, the largest element in the list is result. Finally, it prints the largest element in the list is 90. Question 4. Write a function to return the second largest number from a list of numbers. Now, look at the Python code. Line 1. Def find _second _large stuff, LST, colon. This line defines a function named find _second _largest that takes a list of LST as a parameter. Line 2. If len of LST less than 2 colon. This if statement checks if the length of the input list LST is less than 2, indicating that there are fewer than 2 numbers in the list. If so, it returns a message indicating that the list should have at least 2 numbers. Line 6. Sorted _list equals sorted of LST. The sorted function is used to sort the elements of the input list LST in ascending order. The sorted list is stored in the variable sorted _list. Line 9. Return sorted _list of -2. This line returns the second last element from the sorted list using indexing, sorted _list of -2. In Python, negative indexing accesses elements from the end of the list, so -2 refers to the second last element of the list, which would be the second largest element in the original list. Line 10. Input list given, my_list equals list containing elements, 12, 45, 78, 34, 56, 90. Line 11. This line calls the find _second _largest function and passes my_list as an argument. The function is expected to find the second largest element in the list. Finally, it prints the result in line 12. So, the function first checks if the list has at least 2 elements. If it does, it sorts the list and returns the second largest element from the sorted list. If the list has fewer than 2 elements, it returns a message indicating that the list should have at least 2 numbers for a valid second largest element. Finally, this code initializes a list my_list, finds the second largest element in that list using the find _second _largest function, and then prints the result, which is 78 in this case. Output is 78. Let's see the visualization of the question 4 code. Write a function to return the second largest number from a list of numbers. Line 10. My_list equals list containing elements, 12, 45, 78, 34, 56, 90. Initializes the list my_list with values, 12, 45, 78, 34, 56, 90. Line 11. Function call. Result equals find _second _largest of my_list. Line 1. Function execution. Find _second _largest function. Line 2. The function checks if the length of my_list is less than 2. In this case, the length is not less than 2, so it proceeds. Line 6. Sorted _list equals sorted, my_list sorts the list in ascending order. After sorting, sorted _list becomes list containing elements, 12, 34, 45, 56, 78, 90. Line 9 returns sorted _list of -2. Returns the second last element from the sorted list, which is 78. Line 12. Result. Print of the second largest element in the list is result. The output would be the second largest element in the list is 78. Question 5. Write a program to read a list of n integers and find their median. Note: the median value of a list of values is the middle one when they are arranged in order. If there are 2 middle values, then take their average. Hint: you can use an built-in function to sort the list. Now, look at the Python code. Line 1. Def median value of list 1, colon. Defines a function median value that takes a list 1 as input. Line 2. List1.sort function. Sorts the input list 1 in ascending order. Line 3. Indexes equals len of list 1. Calculates the length of the sorted list and stores it in the variable indexes. Line 4 to 12. If-else block. Checks if the number of elements in the list is even, if index is mod 2 equal to 0. If even, it calculates two middle values, number 1 and number 2, and finds their average as the median. If odd, it finds the middle value directly as the median. Finally, it returns the calculated median value. Line 15, input_string equals input of, enter the elements of the list separated by space. Asks the user to input a string containing elements of the list separated by spaces. Input_string.split function. Splits the input string into a list of strings based on spaces. Line 18. List of, map of, int, input_string.split function. Maps the int function to convert each string element into an integer and creates a list input_list of integers. Line 21. Print of, the median value is, median value of, input_list. Calls the median value function, passing input_list as an argument to find and print the calculated median value of the entered list. Let's see the output. 5 elements 26, 34, 21, 42, 56 are entered. Median value is 34, the middle value after sorting. Look at the next output. 4 elements 42, 24, 41, 27. Median value is 34.0. After sorting 27 plus 41 is equal to 68 divided by 2 gives 34.0. Let's see the visualization of the question 5 code. User input 26, 34, 21, 42, 56. Line 15. Input_string equals input of, enter the elements of the list separated by space. The code prompts the user for input. Line 18. Input_string.split function. Splits the input string into individual strings based on spaces. Here you can see each element as a string. 26, 34, 21, 42, 56. List of, map of, int, input_string.split function. Maps the int function to convert each string element into an integer. List containing elements 26, 34, 21, 42, 56. This forms the input_list. Line 21 to line 1. Function call. Median value of, input_list. Line 2. List1.sort function. Sorts the input_list in ascending order, list containing elements 21, 26, 34, 42, 56. Line 3. Indexes equals len of, list 1. Finds the length of the sorted list, which is 5. Line 9 to 12. As the number of elements is odd, it calculates the median directly. Middle equals 5 minus 1, floor division 2. Calculates the index of the middle element, which is 2. The middle element at index 2 in the sorted list, 21, 26, 34, 42, 56 is 34. Line 21. Print of, the median value is, median value of, input_list. Prints the calculated median value. The median value is 34. Question 6. Write a program to read a list of elements. Modify this list so that it does not contain any duplicate elements, that is, all elements occurring multiple times in the list should appear only once. There are so many ways to write this program. But here we see the simple method. Now, look at the Python code. Line 1. This line defines a function named remove_duplicates that takes one argument, input_list, which is the list we want to remove duplicates from. Line 2. Inside the function, this line uses the set function on the input_list. A set is a collection of unique elements, so when you convert a list to a set, it automatically removes duplicates since sets do not allow duplicates. Then, it converts this set back to a list using list function, ensuring the order of elements is maintained. Line 5. Here, an example list named my_list is created with duplicates for demonstration purposes. Line 8. This line calls the remove_duplicates function we defined earlier, passing in my_list as an argument. It assigns the returned result, a list without duplicates, to the variable modified_list. Line 10 and 11. Finally, these lines print out the original list, my_list, and the modified list, modified_list, to the console to demonstrate the removal of duplicates. The main part of the code is the remove_duplicates function, which leverages the unique property of sets to eliminate duplicates, and then converts the set back into a list. Now, look at the output. Original list 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 5. List without duplicates 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see the visualization of the question 6 code. The original list is 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 5. Then we call the remove_duplicates function with the original list. Remove_duplicates 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 5. Inside the remove_duplicates function, we convert the input list to a set. Set 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 5. The set removes duplicates and keeps only unique elements, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we convert the set back to a list. List 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The list maintains the order of elements, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The remove_duplicates function returns the modified list, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Finally, it prints the original and modified lists. Original list 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 5. List without duplicates 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Question 7. Write a program to read a list of elements. Input an element from the user that has to be inserted in the list. Also input the position at which it is to be inserted. Write a user-defined function to insert the element at the desired position in the list. So, in this program, we are reading a list of elements. The program will prompt the user to input a series of elements that will form a list. Inputting an element to be inserted, the program will ask the user to input an element that needs to be inserted into the previously created list. Inputting the position for insertion, the user will provide the position, index, at which they want to insert the new element into the list. Here indexing is done. Indexing starts from 0. And finally, writing a user-defined function. This function will specifically handle the insertion of the element at the desired position within the list. Let's see the Python code. Line 1. Def add elements of new list. This line defines a function named addElements that takes a list, new list, as an argument. Line 3. Int equals input of, do you want to add any new element to the list? Y for yes/n for no. This line prompts the user with a question and takes their input, y or n, to determine whether they want to add more elements to the list. In line 6, if int.lower function equal to y:. This line checks if the user input, converted to lowercase, is y, indicating the user wants to add elements to the list. Line 7. elem equals int of input of enter the element. If the user wants to add elements, this line prompts the user to enter the element they want to add to the list. Line 8. Index equals int of input of enter the index at which you would like to add the element. This line prompts the user to enter the index at which they want to insert the element in the list. Line 11. NewList.insert of index, elem. This line uses the insert function to add the new element, elem, at the specified index in the list, newList. Line 12. Print, element added. This line displays a message indicating that the element has been added to the list. Line 13. Return add elements, newList. If the user chose to add an element, this recursive call restarts the add elements function to check if more elements should be added to the list. Line 16. Return newList. If the user doesn't want to add more elements, int.lower function not equal to y, the function returns the modified list. Line 19. List1 equals empty list. This line initializes an empty list named list1. Line 22. Int equals int of input of how many elements do you want to add in the list? This line prompts the user to enter the number of elements they want to add to the list. Line 25 to 27. For I in range of int, This for loop iterates int times, prompting the user to input elements and appends them to list1. Line 30. Print of the list entered is list1. This line prints the initially entered list. Line 34. Mod list equals add elements of list1 of This line calls the add elements function with a copy of list1, using list1 of and stores the modified list in mod list. Line 35. Print, the modified list is mod list. Finally, this line prints the modified list after potential user-driven modifications. Let's see the visualization of the question 7 code, how it works. User input creates the initial list, 5, 8, 2. The code then prompts. Do you want to add any new element to the list? Y for yes/N for no. If the user inputs Y, the code asks for the element to add. The code asks for the index at which to insert the element. Let's say the user decides to add an element 10 at index 1. After inserting 10 at index 1, the list becomes 5, 10, 8, 2. The code asks again. Do you want to add any new element to the list? Y for yes/N for no. If the user inputs N, the program stops asking for more elements and prints the modified list, which will be 5, 10, 8, 2. Let's see the output. How many elements do you want to add in the list? The user has entered 3. When pressed Enter key, it asks the user to enter the elements. The user enters 5, 8, 2 respectively. When pressed Enter key, the message the list entered is list containing elements 5, 8, 2 is displayed and it asks the user, do you want to add any new element to the list? Y for yes or N for no. The user has pressed Y for yes. Now, the user is asked to enter the elements. The user enters 10. The user is asked to enter the index of which you would like to add the elements. The user enters 1. Now it displays element added. Do you want to add any new element to the list? Y/N. The user enters N for no. So the output displayed is the modified list is the list containing elements 5, 10, 8, 2. You can see the element 10 is inserted in index 1 of the list. Question 8. Write a program to read elements of a list. Subdivision A. The program should ask for the position of the element to be deleted from the list. Write a function to delete the element at the desired position in the list. Now, look at the Python code. Line 1. Def delete elements function : This line defines a function named delete elements. Line 2. Global list1 declares that list1 is a global variable. This variable is used to store the list of elements. Line 3. Int equals input of, do you want to delete any element from the list? Y/n, that is yes or no. Takes user input to determine if they want to delete an element, y or n. Line 4. If int equal to uppercase y or int equal to lowercase y. Checks if the user input is uppercase y or lowercase y, indicating the user wants to delete an element from the list. Line 5. Elem equals int of, input of, enter the element which you would like to delete. If the user wants to delete an element, this line prompts the user to enter the element they want to delete from the list. Line 6. For I in range of, len of, list1, I iterates through the elements of list1 using an index, I. Line 7. If list1 of, I, equal to elem : checks if the current element in the list matches the element the user wants to delete. Line 8. List1.pop of, I. Removes the element from the list at index I. Line 9. Print, the element is deleted from the list. Informs the user that the element has been successfully deleted. Line 10. Delete elements function. Recursively calls the delete elements function to continue deleting elements if the user desires. Line 11. Break. Breaks out of the loop after deleting the first occurrence of the element from the list. Line 13. If int not equal to uppercase y and int not equal to lowercase y. If the user input is not uppercase y or lowercase y, this block executes. Line 14. Print the elements in the list. List1 prints the elements present in the list after the deletion operation or if the user chose not to delete any elements. Line 16. List1 equals empty list. Initializes an empty list. Line 17. Int equals int of, input of, how many elements do you want to add to the list? Takes user input for the number of elements they want to add to the list. Line 18, for I in range of, int, : loops through the range based on the user input to add elements to the list. Line 19. I equals int of, input of, enter the element. Prompts the user to enter each element. Line 20. List1.append, a. Appends each entered element to the list. Line 22. Print, the list entered is, list1. Prints the complete list entered by the user. Line 23. Delete elements function. Calls the delete elements function to initiate the process of deleting elements as per user input. Let's see the visualization of the question 8 subdivision, A, code, how it works. Initialization. User input. How many elements do you want to add to the list? Let's assume the user enters 3 user input for each element. First element, 5. Second element, 8. Third element, 12. List becomes 5, 8, 12. Display the list. Code prints, the list entered is 5, 8, 12. Initiate deletion. Delete elements function is called deletion process. Prompt. Do you want to delete any element from the list? Y/n. User input, y. Prompt. Enter the element which you would like to delete. User input, 8, iteration through the list. Element at index 0 is 5, no deletion. Element at index 1 is 8, deletion. List becomes 5, 12. Prints. The element is deleted from the list, prompt. Do you want to delete any element from the list? Y/n. User input N. Final display. Prints the elements in the list 5, 12. Let's see the output. The user is asked how many elements do you want to add in the list? The user enters 3. Now, the elements 5, 8 and 12 are added. The list entered is 5, 8, 12. Now the user is asked, do you want to delete any element from the list y/n? The user enters y for yes. So, it asks the user to enter the element which you would like to delete. The user enters 8. The element is deleted from the list. The user is asked, do you want to delete any element from the list? The user enters n for no. Finally, the elements in the list is 5, 12 is printed. Question 8. Write a program to read elements of a list. Subdivision B. The program should ask for the value of the element to be deleted from the list. Write a function to delete the element of this value from the list. In the previous question 8a, the program should ask for the position of the element to be deleted from the list, that is to delete the element at the desired position in the list. But in this code, the program should ask for the value of the element to be deleted from the list. What's value? That is the index value. Index value starts from 0. If there are 3 elements, index is index 0, index 1, and index 2. Now, look at the Python code. Line 1. Def delete elements at index function : This line defines a function named delete elements at index. Line 2. Global list1. This line declares that list1 is a global variable, meaning it can be accessed and modified from within the function. Line 4. Int equals input of, do you want to delete any element from the list? Y/n. This line prompts the user with a message and stores their input, either y or n, in the variable imp. Line 6. If int equal to uppercase y or int equal to lowercase y, : Statements, else : statements. This conditional statement checks if the user input is uppercase y or lowercase y. If it is, the code proceeds to delete an element from the list, otherwise, it prints the elements in the list and ends the process. Line 7. Index equals int of, input of, enter the index of the element you would like to delete. If the user wants to delete an element, int equal to uppercase y or int equal to lowercase y, this line prompts the user to enter the index of the element they want to delete and stores it in the variable index. Line 9. If index less than len of, list1, : statements, else : statements. This conditional statement checks if the index entered by the user is within the range of the list. Line 10. List1.pop of, index. If the index is valid, this line removes the element at the specified index using the pop function. Line 15. Delete elements at index function. This line calls the delete elements at index function recursively, allowing the user to delete multiple elements until they choose to stop. Line 20 initializes an empty list, list1. Line 22 prompts the user to input the number of elements to add to the list. Line 24 onwards, it takes the input elements from the user and appends them to the list, and in line 30, it prints the initial list, and finally in line 34, it calls the delete elements at index function to handle deletion based on user input. Let's see the visualization of the question 8 subdivision B code, how it works. Initialization. Initializes an empty list list1. Asks the user for the number of elements they want to add, imp. Adding elements. Enters a loop to prompt the user for each element int times and appends them to list1. Prints the entered list. Delete elements process. Calls the delete elements at index function. Delete elements at index function. asks the user if they want to delete elements from the list. If the user wants to delete, prompts for the index to delete. Checks if the index is within the range of the list. If it is, deletes the element at that index and prints a success message. If the index is out of range, prints a message indicating that. Recursively calls itself to allow further deletions until the user chooses not to delete more elements. Exiting the function. If the user doesn't want to delete more elements, prints the elements in the list and exits the function. Let's see the output. The user is asked how many elements do you want to add in the list? The user enters 3. Now, the elements 6, 12 and 18 are added. The list entered is 6, 12, 18. Now the user is asked, do you want to delete any element from the list? The user enters Y for yes. So, it asks the user to enter the index of the element you would like to delete. The user enters 2. The element is deleted from the list. The user is asked, do you want to delete any element from the list? The user enters N for no. Finally, the elements in the list is 6, 12 is printed. Question 9. Read a list of n elements. Pass this list to a function which reverses this list in place without creating a new list. Now, look at the Python code, line 1. Def reverse list function. This line defines a function named reverseList. Line 2. Global list1. Declares that list1 is a global variable within the function. This means that the function can access and modify the global variable list1. Line 5. List1.reverse function. Uses the reverse function to reverse the elements of list1 in place. This means the original list is modified and no new list is created. The elements are reversed within the same list. Line 6. Print reversed list, list1. Prints the reversed list after applying the reverse function. Line 9. List1 equals list function, initializes an empty list named list1. Line 11. Int equals int of, input of, how many elements do you want to add in the list? Prompts the user to input the number of elements they want to add to the list and stores this value in the variable imp. Line 14. For I in range of, imp. Initiates a loop that runs int times. Line 15. A equals int of, input of, enter the elements. Prompts the user to input an element and stores it as an integer in the variable a, line 16. List1.append, of, a. Appends the entered element, a, to the list1. Line 19. Print, the list entered is, list1. Prints the list containing the elements entered by the user. Line 22. Reverse list function. Calls the reverse list function defined earlier. This function reverses the list, list1, in place and prints the reversed list. Let's see the visualization of the question 9 code, how it works. Function definition. Def reverse list function, a function named reverseList is defined. Global variable declaration. Global list1 specifies that list1 is a global variable within the function scope. Reverse the list. List1.reverse function reverses the content of the list1 in place. This means the original list is modified. Print reversed list. Print reversed list, list1 prints the reversed list. Empty list initialization. List1 equals list function. Initializes an empty list named list1. User input for list elements. Int equals int of, input of, how many elements do you want to add in the list? Asks the user for the number of elements they want to add to the list and stores the input in imp. Loop for adding elements to list. For I in range of, imp. Initiates a loop that runs int times. User input for element. A equals int of, input of, enter the elements. Prompts the user to input an element and stores it in A. Add element to list. List1.append A. Appends the entered element, A, to the list1. Print entered list. Print, the list entered is, list1. Prints the list containing the elements entered by the user. Call the reverse list function. Reverse list function. Calls the reverse list function. Reversing and printing list. List1.reverse function. Reverses the content of list1 again. Print, reversed list, list1. Prints the reversed list. Let's see the output. The user is asked, how many elements do you want to add in the list? The user enters 3. Now, the elements, 20, 30 and 40 are added. The list entered is 20, 30, 40. The reversed list 40, 30, 20 is printed. Thanks for watching. Watch the upcoming videos. Please subscribe if you are new to my Sally and Bytes YouTube channel to stay updated with engaging content and never miss out on my latest videos. If you like this video, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Share this video with your friends and relatives.